DORK Podcast with Rich Keefe. It's the DORK Podcast. Ryan Davey. It's the DORK Podcast. Hashtag. It's the hashtag DORK Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. Dem Thrones Boyz are back for episode 3, season 2, House of the Dragon. Keefe, Davey, and Scheim. And not to start out on a crass note, I didn't know you could show full blowjob on HBO.
The same thing.
Oh,
Granted, that thing, I will say, that thing was very fake.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very fake. Not a vein on it. Just a.
That was as plastic gets.
Yeah, that's right.
How does that get through? I know, I mean, it's HBO, but like 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, you never saw that. Oh, like,
No,
I've watched a bunch of other like crazy shows on HBO. They never had that. And then all of a
I've
sudden,
seen simulated, but that you got it.
Oh
that
yeah.
was right in there. And they like,
That was right in there. They showed Penny and everything, like full Penny, mouth Penny.
yeah, mouth penny. We didn't get a name of the characters there, but
I don't think we needed it.
We don't need it.
oh, Scheim, do you think those characters? We're going to see those characters later on in the series?
I'm gonna take a wild step in the dark. No.
We got some Hawk Tua on House of the Dragon.
Yeah, it was a legit hawk to a spit on that thing.
They're like, this is too good right now. We have to incorporate this. This people are talking about.
This is so hot right now. We gotta keep
Integral
this in
to
here.
the story too. Like it needed to be told that way.
Yes, it did.
Speaking of important for the story, right after that scene, we also got Aemon's full frontal. We got Aemon's.
Which after seeing the big fake one, it was kind of a letdown.
Well, sure.
Well, it's hard. It was hard to see it in all that bush, but you know.
Yep. It was a older time. It was a simpler time back then, Scheim.
true.
It's just kind of come as you are.
Yeah.
That was wild. And so 2 episodes in a row now we've seen Aemon's just kind of curled up like a little guy, little skinny, all bones.
Here's my thing. If you're gonna have that cool like dragon stone in your eye, why wear the patch?
Yeah, he doesn't need the patch.
Yeah, he really doesn't. Like he looks
No.
way cooler without the patch.
Right.
Yeah. I would agree. Significantly cooler without the patch. All right. Full frontal aside, blow jays aside. Overall, Scheim, what did you think of episode 3?
Yeah, it was good. A little slow. It was probably the slowest of the 3 episodes so far. Not a whole lot going on. It's really kind of just Rhaenyra dealing with internal conflict and how to handle the external conflict. But outside of that, nothing too crazy. I thought we were going to get some cool, like, dragon burning up some dudes action. We didn't. Just missed out on that. Kristen Cole escapes by the hairs on his chinny chin. But that's, overall, fine. Solid episode. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, so what I'm hoping, Davey, is it's sort of just like episodes like this make the payoff that much better. Like,
Well, it better because, again, this is what, 8 episodes?
this season.
And this show is like notorious for this, where we're like the first 3 episodes are all build up, and it's like you better come out swinging with something soon. And again, Daemon lands his dragon on top of Harrenhal, and then you had who was it, Bela, and I'm like both times I'm like say the word, like light some shit on fire, like let's go
do it. Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, so that's why this is what doesn't make sense to me. Why is it smart for guys to run into the trees when there's a dragon when they could just light the whole forest on fire?
Just torch
Like
it.
all those guys could be dead in an instant if she just says the word, boom, everything's on fire, they're dead, and like you just trot away the victor. It's that simple.
They have no idea that she's really not there to wipe him out. Like she's just there to look. And so like,
she did say you're just there to watch. You're not there to.
But like Kristen Cole has no idea. So I'm saying like when he's like, let's fucking get into the forest, they get into the forest and they think they're good. It's like, because she probably like even if they didn't take off, I don't think she was going to light him up because she didn't have that order.
She did not have that authority. No, but also let's talk about Kristen Cole. I hated him before. Now with a shitty haircut, I hate him even. Like
he is the worst.
Yeah, that's a shit haircut too.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him at all. And then
cool armor. They gave him cool armor.
Yeah,
shit haircut.
Cool necklace too for the hand necklace that he has.
Hand necklace, nice little hand chair that he sits in at the round table there. So I respect that. And then he meets Alicent's brother. We get him for the first time, Sir Gawain.
Gawain the Green Knight.
Gawain Wayne.
Little on the nose.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of the 5 worst names ever. Gawain.
Gawain.
What do you go by? I go by Gawain. Like, all right. Well, so he stinks, but he's in a tough spot. And he's like,
He's also a shithead too. So it's like it kind of, you know.
And I the first thing I said out loud to my wife was like, this guy's not making it.
no.
This is my brother Gawain. He's gonna ride into war. It's like, this guy's not gonna make it.
I was convinced. So in that scene where him and Cole are dashing for the woods, I was convinced Cole was gonna give him like a nudge or just straight up boot his horse, so he falls off and gets eaten by a dragon.
Do the old stick in the spokes?
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Like hey, it's you don't have to be first. You just have to not be last.
Exactly.
That's true. No, that's definitely true. So you find out early on in this episode that there is like a battle or like a war sort of beginning, and it's the Brackens and the Blackwoods, and it's 2 families that I don't think we've ever even heard of, right, Scheim? They weren't in Game of Thrones.
They're very small families. I think we've heard of the Blackwoods a little bit, but very, very little.
Yeah, and like they hated each other anyway. And I know some people might be like, "Hey, I wish we saw the battle," but I actually kind of like how they did it, where it was just like 4 guys like talking shit, and then it cut to like one of them like dead in the mud, and I was like, I actually thought that was kind of cool because we don't really know these characters, and it doesn't really matter. Like, there's no real stakes there, so like I didn't need to see the battle. Just knowing that it happened, I think, was fine for me.
But it was cool to it was a cool cut to show the escalation too, because like you said, it was just going to be like 8 guys fighting, and then all of a sudden, it's a whole field of dead.
A ton of dead dudes.
Yeah.
So
that was a cool little cut they did.
At first too, because like everything was the mill in the background was like totally torched, and I was like, did this dragon come through and just absolutely murk everyone? Nope, no, these people just lit everything on fire.
Yep. Mm-hmm. They're just torching it. This episode also early on, so like you got King Aegon, and people are trying to like manipulate him, and we've talked about this the last couple of episodes. Like overall, like not a bad guy, just he's like immature, he's not fit for that job, and so he's just trying to make his way in the whole thing. But I like how he was like, he goes at one point because he like wants to go to battle. He's like, I got a dragon, like I'll go to battle too. And he's like, I'm just as fearsome as any of them. And like,
and everyone just kind of like,
no, the one guy literally like grabbed a drink of his ale. He's like, yeah, sure you are. You're right there.
Yeah, you're a big tough guy. Sure are.
Top notch.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like nothing's worse when you tell like a bad joke and there's no reaction, and then like the one person, they did this in The Simpsons once, where the one person just goes like that's kind of what that was. They're like, okay, bud, you're a tough guy. Like, yeah, go for it.
Oh, you're the toughest. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know what that. Interesting part too. So we're getting based off the last episode where Rhaenyra was basically saved by what's her name again, Scheim? The
white worm or whatever. Yeah.
So she's like a whisperer too. Like, so they both have whispers, right? So like
this version's Varys.
Yeah. So like Aegon,
which I'm pissed about. That's my job. That's my job in this world. And I'm pissed that those two have it.
It's a cool gig. But so Aegon basically has Clubfoot, and Rhaenyra has White Worm.
Correct.
Yeah.
Except the major difference is Clubfoot is clearly manipulating the king, whereas White Worm is like, hey, me and you, Rhaenyra, we're on like equal playing field here. We're going to be honest and truthful with each other and stuff like that.
And she's feeding her good intel too.
Exactly.
Well, like at least you think like it's hard to like fully trust anybody in this world, but I'm with you. Like overall, it seems like she's like, hey, this like seems like a safe place for me, and you're gonna look out for my people in a better way. Mm-hmm. But she is talking to Rhaenyra, and like they're basically going back and forth about like what their relationship's going to be, and then they see one of the dragons, right? It was Sea Smoke out there flapping around. Correct. And she was like kind of having a sad, right? Like Sea Smoke's not feeling very good, and she's like, maybe he's lonely. And I'm like, so what is she getting at here? Like, what does he need? Like a buddy? Like there's other dragons. Like what is she?
I don't get what that means. But then they mentioned later on, they said like my dragons are growing restless because they know something's happening.
Yeah,
because war is coming.
They know, they can smell it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I think Sea Smoke too, like not having a rider puts these dragons in like a state of chaos. Like they just don't know how to live, because a lot of these guys, like as soon as the dragon comes of age, and even before that, it's like almost as soon as it hatches, it matches with a dragon rider, and like they are bonded eternally. And so without its rider, it is just kind of in total chaos.
Yeah.
So I wonder is someone gonna jump on that, you think, or
They could theoretically,
Yeah.
but
or
I
you
don't
could
know.
lose
exactly who it would
lose a
be.
dragon and then jump on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also possible. Well, so when they were going off to war,
Hold on,
go
I
ahead.
got a thought.
Yeah.
Rhaena, who they just sent away, she got sent basically. She's bringing dragons with her, right?
So
yeah, but she doesn't have a dragon.
But she doesn't have a dragon,
correct.
right?
And
That's
that
the
would
whole
be
reason
her-
she's going,
Yeah.
Sea Smoke would be her uncle's dragon.
right?
Yeah. So Rhaena basically is now taking care of Rhaenyra's kids. How many kids does Rhaenyra have left?
Three.
Not counting the 3 or so. So is Rhaena taking 2? Because like the one
No,
of her kids, obviously.
Rhaenys taking 3, and then Jacaerys, the oldest one, is staying with Rhaenyra.
So she had 5 total.
Correct.
Yes.
3 with the Harwin Strong, and then 2 with Daemon.
Ugh.
Gross. Well, they're not brother and sister like the other two, like Aegon and
Aegon, that's true.
Yeah.
They're not brother sister. They
Yeah.
are
No, it's just uncle niece instead.
uncle niece. Oh my Christ. So one of the best scenes. This scene, like, so you're right. Not like a ton happened necessarily. There's a lot of build up. There's a lot of sort of like, here's the dragon, but they're not going to do anything. Like, here's like a lot of talk. But there were some pretty funny scenes, and there was some like stuff that I think is good overall, including Daemon showing up at Harrenhal, right? Because Harrenhal is like this massive location in Game of Thrones, and it's just nothing. Like there's
Nobody's
nobody
there.
There's nobody to greet him. He like gets in there with his dragon. It's like dark and stormy. He like just walks right up. They're like having dinner, and he's like, yeah, okay, like you got it.
He's like,
Yeah, it's
and
yours.
they're like, okay,
Yeah.
that was fast. Yeah,
That
he's
guy
like,
was
you were trying to
hilarious.
poison me. He's like, no.
Yeah, no, dude, like we're clearly on your side. Like, Queen Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
He's like, he called me like your grace or whatever. He's like, all right, fine. Like, I don't give a shit.
Sorry, I
Whatever,
didn't
man.
know. Like I wasn't aware.
He's like, this is the biggest castle in Westeros. He's like, yeah,
He's
it's a piece of shit though. Like, you
No, look around. It's a fucking piece of shit.
Like
And
your
like-
great grandfather came and lit it on fire
Exactly.
and torched the place, and you expect it to be in good shape.
like, what do you want? us to
Fucking
do?
rains all the time. There's fucking mold everywhere.
It's fucking
It's
Seattle
a
in this shit.
shithole.
Nope. He's like, yeah, eat the venison. It's old venison though. It's a good. That's a long cured venison. So he's like, have some. He's like, I'm
Some
not
good
eating that.
red currants in there.
But it was good.
Yeah.
So like, there was a good little backstory though. So like, those guys know Clubfoot really well. He's actually like the great uncle, I think. of
Yes.
Yeah, so
Clubfoot.
that guy is Clubfoot's uncle, correct?
Yes.
And he's like, no, we're not
We
on
don't
his
want
side.
nothing to
Like,
do
that
with
guy's a
him.
piece of shit. So like, he's very clearly on like Rhaenyra's side.
Slick back hair, lives for
Oh.
New Year's Eve.
Piece
Real
of
piece of
shit.
shit
They're just sitting there dumping water on their steaks. That'd be
on their
great.
venison. Yeah.
What the fuck are you guys doing in here? So
Sloppy
I don't,
venisons,
that guy was
baby.
hilarious. It's like Harrenhal seems like it's all about like, what do you get with Harrenhal though? Like really, I mean, I guess
I think it's
castle. It's a
it's
fixed
centrally located and it's the biggest of the castles.
It is the largest castle in all of Westeros, but it's just a piece of shit. And so, like, you even saw it in the original Game of Thrones, where at one point Tywin takes it over, but it's
Yeah.
just like a mess, and it's just like a bunch of random people there, and like Arya is kind of just like hanging out and being a cupbearer. But like, it's supposedly haunted as well, which
Oh,
is kind
cool.
of what they were playing into too, with like the whole thing where Daemon is in there, and then all of a sudden, like somebody's like trying to break through his door.
Yes.
He goes out,
Oh,
and
okay.
sees Rhaenyra and the
That's-
baby.
And there's bats, which means there could be a Dracula in there too.
Also
Oh,
true.
'cause you're like, yeah, it's like, is he just losing his mind? Or you see like that tree, and like, is he got something going on there?
Mm.
Yeah, you see like the young Rhaenyra, or maybe it's haunted. I'm in on
And
that.
then you had what's his name, the daughter, who was like was the only one who didn't kneel, and
Correct,
then he
yeah,
saw
yeah.
her in his dream and she said you're gonna die here.
Yo,
Maybe
yeah,
yeah, maybe she's like a warg or something.
yeah, or he's just fucking having these night terrors.
Yeah,
Those are bad. It's bad news, dude. He was also funny when he's like, I'm gonna go talk to like all your people and convince them. And he's like, well, like the one guy, was it Lord Tully?
it's
Yeah,
a
Grover-
Tully,
Gro-
yeah, Grover,
Grover
Tully,
Tully.
which is a
Yeah.
great name, Grover.
He's like, he goes, Grover Tully can't seal his own bowels. I was like, I gotta stole the show. I gotta look back and see what his name is, but like the guy
Simon Strong.
Yeah.
Oh, Simon Strong?
Simon Strong.
Stole
Great
it.
name.
He just was like so like laid back and like, dude, whatever. Like, you got this, like, take it.
What you gotta know your place. Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do to you?
Well, and his
You know,
three
like-
sons next to him looked like
They
like
ran away.
fucking
They left him at the
Icky,
table.
Sticky, and Dicky. Like they just look like cartoon characters.
We're not gonna be messing around. We're not taking on this guy. But it's almost like I think Daemon was expecting obviously more pushback, or at least like other people having like approached it, or like somebody having taken it over. They're like, no, it's just there for the taking. Like,
Yeah,
you
take it.
go.
I don't want. Look around. I don't want this shit.
Well, that's
Take
the
it.
funny thing too. That's what Kristen Cole is going to go take. He's like, yeah, Harrenhal's the center of the war. It's like, what do you mean? It's a piece of shit. Nobody wants it.
Nobody
Why
wants
are you
it.
fighting over it?
You need to get like a lot of men, and you need a lot of coin to fix that up. My thought always goes to like, even though it's like an abandoned piece of shit, like somebody had to go light all those torches, and somebody had to go light all those candles like
In the rain.
Yeah, in the rain. That's
They
right.
really need the property brothers in there.
Oh,
That's what they need.
They need with the Magnolia Homes with the Gaines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
Chip and
Gaineses.
Joanna.
Yeah.
So you get another good scene of like Rhaenyra's round table, and all those guys have been wanting to go to war for like 8 episodes. Like, they're just like, you gotta go, we gotta go light it up. And she's like, no. And then Rhaenys kind of like, as they're like walking off, she like kind of like reminds everybody who her grandsire was. It sort of gives you like a little bit more of like the Targaryen family history about like, so was it Rhaenyra's grandfather was the longest reigning king like of all time?
No, so it would be Rhaenyra's great grandfather because it was Rhaenys' grandsire.
Oh,
which
got
makes it Rhaenyra's great grandfather was the longest reigning king in Westeros history, even longer than Aegon the Conqueror.
Got it. So yeah, so that's what she's sort of leading on that. Where do you think her head's at right now, Scheim? Rhaenys, because she's clearly like, we talked about it last week. She's on Rhaenyra's side, but she's obviously very powerful herself. So is her husband, and she backs her more than she does like Daemon or like the Hightowers. But clearly, like, there's I don't know, maybe probably like a bigger role for her to play.
So I think she's kind of come to terms with the fact that like she will never get the throne, but she sees a lot of herself in Rhaenyra, and so she wants to support her in any way she can. Especially knowing that it's like her brother's daughter, and like she should be king, she should be queen, rightfully so. And like she doesn't have any loyalty towards those Hightower Targaryen kids.
No.
And so for her, it's like Rhaenyra is her one last hope to keep like her family's line intact and on the throne. And I think she kind of gets that and is willing to help in any way she can, as much as she can.
But it was interesting too, watching the scene between the two of them, her and Corlys, and it was like, you could tell she was not too keen on the idea of him going again, because he almost died the last time he went out into the sea.
Correct.
So there's a lot of people who are, other than the Targaryen men, who are just want to kind of keep the peace or find a way to do this. Even what's his name? Even the old hand there, Hightower.
Otto.
Like he was like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah. So
I mean, that's one thing too that's so clear about Alicent. Like, I think Alicent hates everybody on her side more than Rhaenyra hates everybody on her side.
Yeah.
Because like at least Rhaenyra has Rhaenys. Like, I don't think Alicent has anybody that she fucking, now that her dad's gone. Like, I don't think she has anybody that she.
So she has her kids, right? Like she has Aemond. Aemond is kind of on her side.
But she even
Aegon's a pain in the ass.
She even said something at the end where she's like, yeah, we have Aemond, but like, you know, Aemond or whatever. Like, when she was talking to, like, she's like, yeah, he's a fuck up.
I think the thing too for Rhaenyra though is like all of those guys around her are just trying to push her into war. Like that's all they give a shit about. They don't care about anything. And like at some point, she needs to stop kind of acquiescing to just like letting them speak to her that way and like put her foot down and light somebody on fire and be like, look, I'm the queen. You listen to me. I'm the one in charge here, not you guys.
Yeah, because even Daemon gave it back to her, like during that scene when she was asking him if he recognized her as the queen or whatever, and he kind of snapped back at her.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
So,
get it from all sides.
Yes.
So we know that there is when they're sending like the kids away, they also make a point like there's Stormcloud, Tyraxes, and was there 4 eggs?
Correct.
4
Looks like
eggs.
4 eggs. So we got some more dragons on the way. There's the scene with Clubfoot kind of getting into Aegon's ear again, right? Like Aegon's ready to go to war, and like Clubfoot's pretty smart. Clubfoot's very much like the little finger, right? Like he knows what to say, right? Like the first thing is like he compliments him on his armor, and he's like, "Hey, that looks great." And he's like, "But," he's like, "Here's also what I'm hearing." And
They all hear saying,
yeah,
which they aren't. He made that shit up. Obviously.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
he makes up every goddamn thing he says. All right, so another big part, a big potential like origin is at the bar before we get to the BJ scene and the full frontal scene. You get a guy at the bar who says he's basically Rhaenyra's uncle and says he's related to Daemon, says he's related to Viserys.
And did you
Correct.
catch who that was?
Who was that?
That's the nonce. That's Billy the cunt.
Oh, it is. It was.
Yeah.
So from what show is that? Derek?
Afterlife.
No, Afterlife.
Yeah.
Which is actually really funny because the guy who plays Ricky Gervais's psychiatrist in that show played Thoros of Myr in
Yes.
Game of Thrones.
So there's a
That's
Ricky
awesome.
Gervais. Yeah.
So yeah,
The
it's
nonce.
a universe. So he's sitting there chopping it up with those guys
Yeah.
and saying that he's related. Then he kind of bites his tongue when Aegon shows up. But what's the deal with that guy?
He could be telling the truth. But the other thing too was great is he had to explain, like the guy's like, you don't look anything like them. He's like, how the hell do you know what they look like?
Yeah. Well, then they're like, well, the hair. Like they all know about the hair.
And then half brothers, like
Half brother.
like the Maury show. Like, look at the nose, look at the hair.
Well, yeah, I mean, but look at it this way, like, right, when you look at all the bastards lying around, like the Rhaenyra's kids with the strong guy, they all have black hair. Like you look at the fucking Lannister kids, you knew immediately they're not Baratheon because they don't have dark hair, they have white hair. Like it's
Scumbag. Now was the guy who was in the small council. He said something about Casterly Rock, because he must be a Lannister then, right?
Yeah, so he is one of the Lannister twins. His brother Jason runs Casterly Rock, and then he is like the
Master
head
of coin or something.
Master
Yeah.
of coin. Yeah.
Yeah, because he had a couple of moments in season 1, and then he's just plopped on there now as like on the little small council.
And how confusing, again, to put a pin on this, Eric and Eric, how confusing that is.
Double KO though, so now it's like
It doesn't matter anymore. Which like wait,
you learn it this week, you forget it, then you learn it again, then you forget it.
But he kills his brother and then turns and he's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, Eric. I'm like, wait, I thought he was the one that got sent by
Both Eric.
Yeah.
I'm saying, are you saying Eric?
We're identical twins and we're both Eric.
Well, actually, I think I know. I can figure that one out.
Scotty or Scotty.
There it is.
Figured out. Yeah.
Scotty, probably. Yeah, so this guy I'm actually pretty intrigued by. The guy who says he's Viserys and Daemon's brother.
Yes, half brother.
Something there. There's something's cooking with this
Yeah,
guy.
so is that also the same guy? So remember in the last episode, there was the scene where we see the guy walk into his house and he's got the sick daughter and his wife is like, yeah, I had to pay 3 times as much as normal for chicken. Is that the same guy?
That was the guy. That guy, we talked about this a little bit. He
was the swordsmith guy that asked for more money.
Yes.
Yeah, he showed up and Aegon was like, yeah, take your
But is it also the same guy that was in the bar? Because they look like the
so.
same.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I think it's a different dude.
I thought that guy was he was a bit burlier.
Because like why? So my thought is why show that guy in the last episode if it wasn't this guy? Like what is the point of showing that guy? I think that's why I think it is the same dude.
All right, wait a minute. We got Dina Woodcock in the Twitch chat saying yes, Scheim. I believe so.
Yeah, so like I think that is the same guy. If they at the very least they look the same. I'd have to go back and double check, but I'm pretty sure.
I got to rewatch it then if it is. So do you? Well, if that's the case, then the guy's full of shit, right?
Probably yes.
Yeah. But I mean, it's also possible that they do have like brothers and half brothers and bastards.
They all do.
Like, right? Like that's the thing. It's like I don't know. But that was That was good. And then of course the episode basically ends with Rhaenyra finding a way. She talks to the White Worm and she wants to talk to Alicent, because I still maintain like Alicent hates the side that she's on, but she's kind of committed to it at this point. Does not want war, thinks everybody on her side's a bunch of idiots.
Well, she even says as much too, because like the whole thing at the end, she's like, "Well, you're too late. Like they're already rolling right now."
Yeah, they're cooking at this point. But Rhaenyra did get in there, but like pretty easily. But like whatever, that's fine. Like she had some intel. She got in there and she's talking to her, and good back and forth. And you get like the sort of like the breakthrough, because Alicent, we've talked about this too, like where like if you think you're telling the truth and you're wrong, you're not lying, you're just wrong.
Right.
That's
So we were talking about this here. We're like, she thinks she's telling the truth because that's exactly what she heard. She's not.
Alicent
did say Aegon's name.
Alicent's not doing a power play, or at least she wasn't.
No,
she legit heard what she thought she heard, and then she ran with it. But she was wrong.
Right, because he still thought. So Viserys thought he was still talking to Rhaenyra.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And she, in the context of what he was saying to her, she would have known. And they kind of pieced it together. She's like, "So you made a mistake," and she's like, "No, I didn't."
So now,
like, no, but you did. No, but you did. I can prove it. She's like, "No, bye.
No mistakes here. See ya."
Yeah.
The Song of Ice and Fire, and
she had no idea what that was.
Prince was promised,
and that's where the miscommunication lies, right? Because Alicent has no clue what the Song of Ice and Fire is, and so anything that we had mentioned, she just hears the name Aegon and she assumes that it's her son.
Right.
Man. And the prince that was promised ended up being Jon Snow, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Like 200.
Which they did nothing with.
They didn't do much with.
No, that's really look. Let's not talk. Let's not.
We're not
going to
go down that road, okay?
No.
We're not going to go down that road.
You killed him and brought him back to life for nothing.
Yeah.
But we're over it, right? We're not harping on it. We're over it.
No, we're over it.
Not even concerned with it at all.
Nope, not even a little bit.
Like, man, what a cool setup! Like, what an unbelievable setup.
It would be really cool
years earlier.
It would be really cool if the next book had come out so that we knew exactly how Jon Snow was supposed to come back to life and what was supposed to happen. But
didn't happen.
That guy's not going to finish.
Wait another 10 years.
That is the gambit. No, he's not going to be alive. Someone else is going to have to finish that.
Oh God,
It is the gambit of fantasy novels.
Yeah,
it's fucking A. So yeah, but like it's pretty badass because like they even talk about like winter's coming too, like when they were talking about like the Starks and like that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so like they plant that seed like hundreds of years before there's a payoff, and unfortunately both payoffs are like half an episode. You're like, that was it? Okay, never mind.
The zombie dragon was pretty cool.
that was dope.
There was some good stuff in there, but like they kind of the game with like the Avengers team that they assembled at the end there when it was like Snow and Beric Dondarrion and Thoros of Myr and like the Hound and like all the like
and Arya and all of them.
Yeah.
Like,
that's insane. Oh, so cool. So anyway, go back to that. So at 3 episodes into season 2, do you guys have a clear cut like 3 favorite characters? Because I remember in Game of Thrones, it was ever changing, but like I was always like a big Arya guy. And then as it went on, like I loved Beric Dondarrion. I loved what's his nuts? The guy that they just like wrote off as well. They never even Dario Naharis. Like
Dario Naharis, yeah.
But then he like disappeared and he was gone. But like they had so many good characters. That's the one thing I still feel like is a difference here. Like I like a bunch of characters. I would say Rhaenys is probably my favorite.
Yep.
But I don't know if I love like if I had to put Rhaenys in the same power rankings as the Game of Thrones characters, she'd be like 12.
It's not even close. Like it's hard to come up with 3 favorite characters right now in House of Dragon. Like over a season in, and I'm like, I like Rhaenyra. I don't love her.
Same.
Like I like Daemon. I don't love him. Like there's nobody that I am in love with.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I don't know if I'm supposed to not like anybody right now, but I kind of don't. The more he talks and the more he kind of tries to talk to people, I do like Otto Hightower and the way he's like the voice of reason, but nobody's listening to him.
That last episode where he goes, "All right, what did you 2 fuckbags cook up this time?"
Fuck
that was tremendous.
Hey,
he's like,
Sir Kristen Cole's got it covered. He's like, what? What?
What did you do? Oh, you did? Great. Great. Good for you guys.
That was good. That was a really good line.
Yeah, but as much as I do like the show, it's funny. Like, unfortunately, they're not giving you these like awesome characters that you love. And on the flip side, like right away, you had like Joffrey and like Jamie and Cersei Lannister, and you were like, "Fuck these guys."
Yeah.
Like this, like I don't know. Like I want Rhaenyra's team to beat Alicent's team, but I actually don't really mind Alicent. Like the kid's not that bad. Like they don't have like a true like real villain yet either. I don't think.
The only guy you're just like, oh, fuck you, is Kristen Cole. Like that's the
Oh,
only
fuck
one
that
that to
guy.
me is I'm just like, ah, fuck this guy.
And he's
This
not
guy
even like a
stinks.
piece of shit. He's just like he's dumb.
Yeah,
He's a dumb hunk. Is his
Yeah.
problem.
It's true.
You know?
You want to
Is
see
it-
his comeuppance.
And he thinks
Yeah.
he's smart. Like that's the issue, is he thinks he's smart and he's not at all.
That's true.
Well,
The title of this episode was The Burning Mill. So I guess,
Which is weird because they literally the burning mill lasted for about 30 seconds. We
Yeah.
saw the little fight between the like 8 guys, and then all of a sudden a bloody battlefield. But like that really didn't affect the episode at all. Everybody was still arguing about the Riverlands, whether that happened or it didn't.
Right.
And so it's like I felt like this episode was easily the weakest of the 3 so far.
yeah, I would agree. Because the first one I thought came out swinging pretty good. The second one, you at least got the changing of the hand, right? Like Otto was out, like so shit was happening.
And at the
I
end of each episode, you got like a big event, right? The death of the child,
Jesus,
the double
right.
KO, like
by the way, they keep hammering that, like sewing the kid's neck. Like they
Oh.
keep in the funeral
in
procession.
the
like,
intro
they keep
too. Did you notice it in
hammering
the
it.
intro?
Yes.
Ugh.
Like, okay, you killed a kid. More Hawk Tuas, less kids with their heads cut off. Stop it.
Enough of that.
Yeah.
Don't do that anymore. Nobody wants
Come
that.
on.
Stop it. All right. The question we ask every week on this program, was there enough dragons, not enough dragons, or just the right amount of dragons?
I think for a nothing episode, it had just the right amount of dragons, even though they didn't really do anything.
Yeah,
I
I think it was better than last week's episode. I would have liked to see them do more, but you saw a variety of them. You saw some of them up close. You saw some like real good flying. They took a couple orders. So I'm like, I was generally satisfied with the dragons, but like I'm gonna need to see them light some shit on fire soon.
Yeah, there's no like dragon orgasm here, but it's like, oh, okay. It's like I'm getting a half job. We're chilling. Like this is good. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah. I'm into it. I like
Yeah.
where this is going.
Let's
There's
I
see it.
like it, but just like more.
I need more of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's only 8 episodes. So next week we're going to be at the mid-season, and you wonder if that usually the penultimate episode is when like shit really pops off. So that'd be episode 7, but I'm guessing episode 4, just because people are like, all right, this is good, but where's this going? It has to get crazy next week.
You got to give me something.
Yeah.
You got to give me something.
Yeah, there has to be some kind of like climactic moment here. There has to be something to draw us in and be like, okay, let's really get this going here in the second half of the season.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right, who is the next character of note to die? Who is gonna die? We saw the twins, Eric and Eric. We saw
Gwen's not making it out of that forest.
Gwen is
Sir Gwen.
Gwen's
Gwen
fucked.
is- Gwen
Yeah.
is fucking toast.
Good one. Yeah, Sir Gwen. Sir Gwen's gonna go.
Fucking Gwen.
I have a feeling Simon Strong dies too. He was the comic relief in this last episode, and he's gonna get an incidental like sword through the throat.
Yeah, probably. Poor guy. Harrenhal. So what do you think? Is Daemon gonna return and be like, hey, I got Harrenhal? Or like, cause he's AWOL. Like they don't know, he's not even sending ravens. Like nobody knows what's going on with Daemon.
No one knows what he's doing. No, I think he'll have something with that daughter who said he was gonna die.
So
He'll
they have
have
like a
something-
little dalliance.
A tryst. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
So my thought is like clearly they're setting the or sowing the seeds here of Daemon having some delirium within Harrenhal, and so my thought is maybe Daemon goes bananas in the next episode and like kills Simon and his kids, and kind of slaughters a bunch of people.
He's
The
like,
only
I took
person left,
Harrenhal.
Yeah,
The
it's
only
like,
person-
you didn't need to do that. That's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, and the only person left is the daughter, and she's like, "See, I told you you'd die in here," and he like a piece of him dies.
Or what about this? A little bit of a twist. What if like the illusions they say? What if he actually did get poisoned? What if he did settle in and those guys are fucking with him?
They'd be pretty good.
That
That'd be
would
cool.
be good.
That'd be cool. Probably not though.
Probably not. Because
I'd like-
I love how he was like so serious. Like he was playing this game, like, oh, I'm not gonna eat the food you serve me because it's probably poison. They're like, dude, what the fuck? I thought they were just like, we let you in.
Yeah.
Like,
what-
look around you. Why would we poison you?
yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's fine. Welcome aboard.
Like he'd probably poison me.
All right, question.
Poison me right now.
Does Daemon make it through the season alive?
No.
Through the season.
Yeah.
Yes.
Someone no, he's gonna get got at the end.
Maybe.
And it's gonna be like Rhaenyra or somebody like that who just finally takes him out.
Ooh, Rhaenyra killing him would be badass.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
think ultimately because of all this like slow play, I wonder if Rhaenyra hops on that fucking dragon and does like most of the damage.
Yeah.
Because
I
like
think
she's doing nothing.
my prediction is big Daemon Aemond fight.
Daemon Aemon needs to happen on
Yeah.
dragons because they both have.
That's gotta be the Hound Mountain fight.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah.
I don't
The
think it'd be a fair
Demond
fight
Bowl.
off the dragon though, because Aemon is literally skin and bones.
But
Yeah, but they said he's a good
wiry.
fighter. Remember when they were describing him to the two guys that went into the castle? They said,
Yeah.
"Hey, guy with an eye patch, he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter."
Is he? He has
I don't
no
know.
depth perception. He'd be like, close one eye and try fighting somebody. You wouldn't hit anybody.
Unless it's a strong eye.
You wouldn't know if
if he's
something's coming
right,
at you.
if he is right eye dominant, he's fine.
Yeah, I guess. No, but them on dragons, they could light some stuff up. That'd be pretty good. Be pretty good. Yeah, yeah. We saw more of Aemon tonight than I thought we were gonna see. That is fair.
Oh, yeah.
That is mentioning. Yeah, because like Game of Thrones is famous for their deaths, like surprise deaths. But I don't know, like it feels like there was more characters in Game of Thrones, and if Daemon's out, they already guaranteed a season 3. Somebody's gonna have to pick up the pieces, you know.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Daemon, like Rhaenyra-Alicent, Daemon are the three of the main characters, and then you have like Aegon and Aemond. And then probably who's Rhaenyra's oldest son that's living? Is it Luke?
No, Jacaerys. Luke was the one that
Jacaerys.
died.
Luke's dead.
Yeah,
so
Luke
she's-
died.
Yeah. So yeah, he's probably in like what did we say, Bela last week? That could be a power couple.
She's a character I want more of. Like
Yes.
she's seen the limited times we've seen Bela, she seems
Agreed.
cool. On her dragon was dope. And then in the meeting room where Rhaenyra looks at her and goes, "You were told not to engage." She goes, "Yeah, like I didn't technically.
Yeah,
I
I
was
didn't.
close, but I didn't." Like I like, yeah, give me more of her. I need to see more of her.
Agreed. And so that is Daemon's daughter.
Correct. With
Yes.
Corlys's daughter.
Yeah. Stuff, man. The family tree. There's a lot of connecting lines.
A lot of ins, a lot of outs,
It's-
a lot of what have yous.
Well, very good. Yeah, I think we're sort of still in the building phase of House of the Dragon. Final thoughts here for episode 3, The Burning Mill. Scheim, what'd you think? Final thoughts?
That's a bad episode title. That was my final thought.
Yeah, not a great final thought. We saw a couple of things that we'd never seen before, though. That would be sort of my biggest takeaway from the thing. I was not prepared for that. To see that, that's hard to explain. How do I explain that to my kids? Huh?
You don't. I'm really surprised though they didn't legitimately hawk Tua. Like I was like they
absolutely
should have.
Yeah.
That is a missed opportunity.
It really is. If you're gonna in for a penny, in for a pound at that point. Like, just
Right,
do it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Dave, any final thoughts?
Yeah, it's just too slow right now. I
Very
like
slow.
it. I like what it's building towards, but I'm gonna be greedy. I just need a little bit more out of the show right now.
I agree. I like it. I can't say I love it. I like it. I want to see where it gets going, and we'll be there for you next week as it'll be the mid-season episode 4 next week. So hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at Dork Podcast. Email us anytime, dorkpodcast@gmail.com. And we stream these episodes live on YouTube. So just go to youtube.com/dorkpodcast and subscribe away. For Davey and Scheim, I'm Keefe. That'll be it for Dem Thrones Boyz. Talk to you next week.
See ya.